position that you got room to put a bunch of power on it in that stroke. And so somebody might like it way up high, somebody might do it more from the middle. Let them figure that out. But you can talk about, you got more stroke here. But Power Start is saying get that pedal in that position. We're going to talk about unweighting the front of the bike. And Ben did it on these nice smooth curves here because there's no consequence to it. But if we've got a log in the trail and I just ride straight into that log, it's going to hit my tires. If I've got enough suspension, it's going to absorb it. But it's going to push the bike up. If I'm rigid on my arms, it's going to push me up. It's going to rob me of all my momentum, slow everything down. If I have the ability to float over that, it's much easier. So if I'm in attack and I let the bike move up and down over me, a lot of times we can get over smaller obstacles, no problem. If it's bigger, float's not going to do it. We've got to get that front tire unweighted or hitting the obstacle. The likelihood that it stops the bike is significant. And getting the front unweighted is a challenge because it involves moving your body in the right way for the front end to come up. The risk that most people do when they're learning this, whether they're pedaling or whatever, is that they want to pull the bike up to them. And if I'm pulling the bike up to me, I have microseconds before, because of my body posture, where my weight is, the front's going right back down again. We want to be able to unweight the front in a way that we've got some time while it's unweighted to do that. And in order to do that, we've got to shift our body weight. And for learning, if I want to learn to wheelie, I need my pedal in the Power Start position and to pedal. If I'm in attack position and I do Power Start for pedal, I'm not going to wheelie very well, right? The bike's going to come up. If I stay in attack, I'm still center of gravity's too far forward and the front tire's going to go right back down. I need the bike to come up as well. And actually, if we talk about wheelie, for balance, a balance point for me wheelie wise, kind of right here, this balance point, right? If you look at my body, my belly button is pretty much over the center of my rear skewer. It's back. It's much further back than most people realize, but it's scary for that coming up. But we talked about the coordination of Power Start pedal stroke and getting your torso upright. For me to wheelie, I'm effective at wheeling when I think about, as soon as I put my first pedal stroke in, I'm upright and just kind of sitting there, like nice and comfortable. And we talked about saying tip back, because if you say body back, somebody might do this, or shift back. So we talked about saying Power Start pedal stroke and tip back. And if they can combine those two things, what it does is it essentially allows the bike to rise up out from under them without them having to move their body. It kind of naturally gets their body position in the back. And so combining those two things, learning to do Power Start, you can learn to do that on the hill here and get good at being able to apply a strong power stroke. You could combine that to what we were doing with braking, where they get 3 pedals and that's all they get to be able to get to a start and coast and see who wins the coast with a 3-pedal start with that, and get comfortable with applying strong power. Then it comes to on the trail where you're going to apply that pedal stroke in a way that lets the front end lighten up. And the key was for me, and what we've seen in teaching, is combining those two things where you're thinking about shifting back. Commonly, it takes a thought of, you are in attack, you're going to do Power Start pedal stroke, and you're going to tip up, tip back. You're going to sit up and back, and that motion pulls your body back and lets the front end go up. You can do that with a painted line on the ground. You can do it with a stick or a pine cone, where you're having them work on just get that front end to unweight and come up. And that's the basics of starting to do that.